Welcome to Collecting Chaos. We're back on the comics. I got a little off track with the with part two. I started actually grading the comics and assigning grades to them, and that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to show you how to quickly separate them so you could grade them easier. So I'm going to pick it back up. We'll just pretend like part two never happened. We're going to play comic book retcon, and we're going to go back to the end of the first Classics Illustrated, where I separated them into mid-grade and low-grade stacks. And I'm going to take it from the mid-grade, and these are ones that I had already done, but I'm going to go ahead and do them again. And I'm going to show you why something is, I consider something fine in the fine grades, why I would put it in very good. One of the things that I look for in a fine comic is corners. The corners should be sharp. Now, it's not always easy to tell if corners are sharp or if they're rounded. There's two ways you can do that. You can get a framing square, a small framing square, or you can make something like this, put it in there, and if it fills it, it's probably a fairly sharp corner. Like this is a good corner. Whereas on this side, it's a little bit rounded. Not badly, but a little bit. And you'll be able to see the roundness in the corner. I don't use that. I just made it as an example. We'll start with this one. I would love to classify this as a fine or better comic. It does have multiple stress creases along here, which is why it's not better than fine, why it can't be very good or very fine. But it also has a color breaking crease here. It's hard to see, but it's there. It's right down here. Goes from here to here. You see how it lifts up? You can see the crease. And if we look at the back, well, the back's a little dirty, but overall it's a nice shape. I'm going to put this in the very good pile, even though it's borderline. I suspect it'll end up being very good to fine. But I'm going to put it in the very good pile, mostly because of this 2-inch crease right here. It still presents really well. The corners are fairly sharp. This one's a little dulled, but other than that, it's a nice copy. So we're going to put this in the very good copy pile. And then I'm going to take this one, and we're going to take a look at it. Now it has a crease here and here. Multiple stress creases, which is why it can't be better than fine. Why it can't be a high-grade copy. Long crease here, about a 2-inch crease here, 1.5 to 2 inches. Yeah, it's about 1 3/4 inch crease. A lot of dirt. That can be cleaned off. We just take our little eraser and we just do this and clean it off, right? I'm not going to do that right now. Because of those creases, I'm going to put this one in the very good pile. Again, it will probably end up being very good to fine. This one looks a little better. Now, mind you, I'm just going over off of the covers. I'm not digging into the inside of this comics yet. That can affect the grade greatly. Now, this has a dimple right here that's kind of nasty looking. It's actually away from the paper. It's got a 1/4 inch spine split down here, and it has a mild spine roll. So again, I'm going to put this in the very good pile. Deerslayer. It's missing a piece down here. It's barely hanging. It's actually detached from the lower staple. I was going to say it's barely attached, but it's actually detached. Has about a ½ inch, well, maybe not that much, about a 3/8 spine split, and a 2-inch spine split down on the bottom. We're putting that in the very good stack. 20 years after, the paper's got pulled away from the staple, but it is mostly attached, or is it? Yes, it's still attached. The cover is still attached to that staple, even though it's pulled away some. It's missing a piece here. It's missing a piece up here. Again, multiple stress crease. This is a long crease here. This is about a 3/4 of an inch crease. It's got about a ½ inch crease here. Because of the quantity of defects, I'm going to put it in the very good pile. We're not doing so good, are we? There's no question on this one. It's got a long crease here. It's got wear along the edges. They're not quite chipping, but it's close enough to chipping that we can call it that. It's got spine splits here. The cover is loose but not detached. That's important. About a 5-inch crease here. A crease that goes down most of the middle. Crease here. Crease here. Put it in the very good pile. This one, corners are sharp. Looks like it has a crease that's not quite breaking color, going all the way down the spine. Presents really well. It's got about a 3/4 inch crease on this corner, but I think I would rate this one as fine. So we've got one in the fine column finally. Michael Strogoff. This has a crease all the way down. It's very good. Just like I doubt that it's a, actually it might be. I doubt that it's a subscription crease. I think it's just a crease from somebody holding it like this. The cover's loose but not detached. So we're going to say very good. On the subject of subscription creases, if it breaks color on the front of the cover, the highest grade it can be is very good. If it doesn't break color on the front of the cover, but it breaks color on the back of the cover, it could rate a fine. I know that sounds kind of strange, but that's pretty much the way it's done. Now let's carry on with more. Here's Pathfinder. It's got a crease that goes up here. It doesn't go very far, but it is a crease. Goes up about this far. It's got a smaller crease here. Got a lot of dirt on it. Not sure what kind of dirt that is. The staples are attached. I think, yeah, it's got not just color break here, but it actually is, the comic itself is torn here. So we're going to put that in the very good pile. Next, Huckleberry Finn. 3/4 inch spine split. About an 1/8 of an inch spine split there. Crease going down here. Very small missing piece. That, if that was the only thing wrong with it, it could possibly still be fine. A little bit dirty. But that spine split is why I'm going to put it in the very good pile. You see, I'm just doing this. I haven't looked through the books. I don't know if they're complete yet. This is preliminary. This one, no question about it, I'm putting this over here in the fine copy column. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I've actually picked up a couple more classics illustrated and mixed them in since we last looked through these. Cover's a little loose at the bottom, but it is not detached. It's missing a little bit here. Hopefully that's just folded in. This could possibly rate a fine copy. We'll put it over here for further evaluation. And trust me, we will go through these comics many, many times. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Actually pretty clean. I'm going to put this over here in the fine. Mysteries of Paris. No major defects. A lot of minor ones. Sit that over there in the fine. The Pioneers. This feels like it has rust on the staples. The staples feel rough, like they're a little bit corroded. It's got a bad... This is what happens eventually if the comic isn't protected and it has these little flecks on the corners from where the comic was cut, and it's not taken care of. They get progressively worse like that. This one's got a lot of little tiny creases in it, and one long one here. Missing a little piece here. I'm going to put this over here. This will probably go a little... Most of the reason it's over here is because of the corrosion I feel on that staple. You may remember in the last video, I ran across a comic that had a lot of water wrinkles on it. This is that comic. The water wrinkles are gone. I had to press this several times, and I had to press it on a little bit higher heat than I like in order to get them out. But I think that's because of it's the newer paper. You can faintly see where they are. If you run your hands across the paper, you can feel them, but it's so faint that it's negligible. Unfortunately, I did notice while I was going through this that it does have rust migration on the lower staple. You can't feel the rust, but it's there. And the staple is discolored. But you know, overall, it turned out to be it turned out pretty nice. So that's an update on this comic, and now we'll go back to sorting Classics Illustrated for the remainder of the video. Okay, next up, Robinson Caruso. It's missing a chunk out of the cover. It's got a long crease here, and that's a darn shame because this would easily, if it didn't have this crease or that chunk missing out of the cover, it would easily be very fine. But as it is, it's very good. Rip Van Winkle and the Headless Horseman by Washington Irving. Bad spine roll. That in and of itself, as far as I'm concerned, can drop it to very good. Removing the spine roll, maybe bring it up to a fine. It's in really nice shape. Nice sharp corners. No real bad creases. The spine does show a lot of wear, but that's partially because of that spine roll. But because of the spine roll, I'm putting it over here in the very good pile. I may move some of these over to here and some of these over to here after I do some work to them. I will be doing some cleaning on them. You might not see that on camera. You might see it on camera. I haven't decided yet. Severe spine wear. No splits. I think this would qualify as a... it's got a lot of bad creases on the back. I was about ready to qualify it as fine, but I don't think so. Too many bad creases on the back. We're going to stick it over here. Presents really nicely. Withering Heights. Some of the ink is worn off of the spine. Staples are a little loose but not detached. It's got some kind of, it feels almost like an oil stain. So that's going to go over here. Treasure Island. 1.5 inch spine split. Checking to see if the staple's attached. They're loose but not detached. Some minor creasing up here. 1/2 inch tear. Yeah, very good. Okay, this has a crease that goes from here all the way down and a 1/4 inch tear at the top, which is where it goes. That's a darn shame too. Really nice copy other than that. Reasonably clean copy too. I don't see a whole lot wrong with this other than the stress creases along the spine and the minor, it has a lot of stress creases along the spine. A little bit of edge creasing, but not anything bad. We're going to stick this one over here. Nice color loss on it too. Sereno du Bergerac. Looks like it's got some kind of bleaching or something up here on the, going all the way down along the edge, which really affects the way it presents itself. It's got nice color gloss. Cover's definitely attached. But even with that, it's still a really nice copy. And I'm going to put it over here. White Fang. Now the 15-cent comics, those were published in the 50s and 60s. Before that, they were 10 cents. Nicely attached. This is a first print. The HRN number. Oh, it might not be. HRN number is 87. It might be a second print. There's a quick way to find out. We go to the end of the story. Nope, it's a second print. If it was a first print, it would tell you what was coming next, what the next story was going to be. Still, it's in pretty nice shape. I'm going to put it over here in the fine section. Illustrated story of great explorers. Some creasing along here. This is... Huh. That's kind of strange. Okay, it's supposed to be a square bound. But it isn't. No, it is not supposed to be a square bound. It's all the pages are wrapped around. It's just stapled here instead of on the edge. That's odd. I've never seen a comic made like that before. Huh, I learned something new. I'm putting it over here. It's a nice copy. Presidents of the World. It's also a nice copy. The French Revolution. That's a not so nice copy. The Crusades has several long creases right down where the title is, The World Around Us. So we're going to put that over there. And we're going to move American Presidents over there because it has that same crease. This one not so much. The Atomic Age. Unfortunately, it's got a bad spine split up here. About a 1-inch spine split. It's got a little bit of the cover missing down here. It's got some tears on the back, and it's actually... Well, that piece is only folded over. We got lucky. Okay, that's it for the mid-grade. Next video, we'll go through the low grade, and then we'll start going through the ones that I said could be fine. And then we'll go through these, and then we'll go through the other ones again. We're going to do this several times until we actually have arrived at grades that we're happy with on each of the comics. So, hope you learned something. Hope you got a little idea with this, you know, an easy and quick way to tell if a corner is sharp if you're not too good at it. Don't forget to wash your hands before you handle your comics. And I learned something. What I learned is you have to use a higher temperature on modern comics than you do on Silver or Bronze Age. So we'll see you next video. Bye.